Hello there, finally time to share the beauty bits I picked up in Sephora during my 7 months overseas last year. Boy, did those black and white stripes suck me in. My makeup style is natural and minimal, but I'm always very honest about being a makeup minimalist with a not so minimalist collection. My love of beauty is based on experimentation and being your own beauty editor to unearth new treasures. So this is certainly an unusually large haul, but that's because of the length of time it covers and many different locations. Sephora US, Canada and Europe didn't go mad all at once. I've also been using all of these for quite a while, so it's not really a haul, just a review of products I picked up along the way. 2 brands have already appeared in recent videos, so I don't want to sound like a broken record. I'll keep it brief for these 2 and link the videos down below. Milk Makeup was top of my shopping list. It's the minimal makeup brand that took social media by storm, but it's not available in Australia, so I had quite the wish list. You can hear me talk through every product in my Milk video, but I'll mention my favourites briefly. Their lip and cheek stick in Work, a lovely dusty rose with a great dewy finish, and their matte bronzer in Baked, a super simple, creamy, sun-kissed tube that got me back into using bronzer. Mcgrath Labs was another brand I'd lusted after. As one of the world's master makeup artists, Pat launched her own line to let us all take home a piece of her editorial magic. In my separate review, I compare 3 of her formulas. My favourite shades were Luxe Trance in 35mm, Matte Trance in Vendetta, and her Lip Fetish Balm in Wild Cherry, my pick of the bunch. Moving on to 2 more brands that have appeared on my channel before, but I added new shades to the family because I'm such a big fan of the formulas. Bobbi Brown Crushed Lip Colour. Oh, let me count the ways I love thee. Since my video on them in early 2018, I receive the most messages from viewers who've tried and loved them too. A comfortable, creamy, sheer formula that goes on looking like you've already blotted your lipstick. These first 2 shades were inspired by a visit to the Midwest to see my friend Katie from What Kate Finds. Babe is a Your Lips But Better pink, and Sunset is a great vibrant orange for summer. Then the shade Regal, a bright raspberry red. This shade is actually part of a giveaway on my Instagram at the moment to share my love of red and this formula with you, so I'll leave that linked below. Cherry is one jump up from Regal, slightly more of a crimson, rich red. But Ruby is my new equal favourite alongside the shade Cranberry. Ruby is a beautifully dark, brown, moody red that looks stunning as a light stain or built up. I should mention these have quite a strong old school lipstick scent, but it's not something I'd even noticed until viewers pointed it out. The Fresh Sugar tinted lip treatments regularly make an appearance in my handbag. They're a tinted lip balm I treat more as a sheer lipstick. I love the shade range and comfortable texture, but don't find them super hydrating, so they're not something I'd reach for if my lips were actually dry, but as a sheer wash of colour, perfect. Honey is one of their most famous shades, a very sheer nude. Spice is a great warm nude peach in my everyday makeup bag at the moment. Punch is a bright peachy orange. Coral is the closest thing to a red after they discontinued Passion, my favourite, and Poppy is a purple berry. I splashed out on their Lip Serum Advanced Therapy after hearing rave reviews. A lip serum means it's much lighter than a balm and sinks into any fine lines in your lips, really smoothing them out. You're only meant to use a tiny dot each time, so it will really last. Then I layer their famous Fresh Sugar Lip Caramel on top for probably the smoothest lip combo I've ever tried. And I'm a lip balm addict, so that's a big call. This just feels like a tasty, smooth treat to use. No caramel scent to me, the usual fresh sugary taste wins out. I was drawn to the Dior counter and tried their new Dior Backstage range, inspired by fashion show beauty and set at a lower price point. This lip palette appealed to me because of the overall peachy nude colour mood, and it's been great to play around with on lips and eyes. The top row are glosses, the middle row are satins, and the bottom row are mattes, great patted onto the lips. Really loving mixing and matching these as eyeshadow or lipstick, great smooth light textures and beautifully sheer shades. I spotted this Dior Sophisticated Matte Lipstick on a friend and loved the bold berry red on her. That's actually my favourite way to discover products, being struck by seeing it on someone else and feeling compelled to ask what it is. I stop people on the street quite a bit. Then my first Diorific lipstick, a formula that has a bit more shine, slip and slide compared to their mattes. The Brownie Red Plum Diorama caught my eye in Paris and I wore it for the rest of my time there. Their 5-colour shadow palette in Embrace, sometimes known as Sienna Embrace or Embrace Matte, had been on my radar for a long time since Alana Davison used it. That orange and tan brown, oof. Admittedly, the other 3 shades don't suit my skin tone or style, but the other 2 are so spot on. I love layering and mixing the 2 together, really smooth, even mattes. I'd used his liquid eyeliner and mascara many years ago, but this felt like my first real taste of Tom Ford because lipstick and eyeshadow are the most celebrated elements of his line. You've already seen this cream and powder eye colour in Golden Peach here, absolutely obsessed. The glitter on top is too much for me, but the cream underneath is peach perfect. Light, moussey, pigmented, and easy to leave as one light swipe of colour. I'd always been a bit overwhelmed by Tom Ford's lipstick shade range, not to mention the price, but saw the matte shade Wicked Ways being used by Lisa Eldridge on Kate Bosworth, and that's a good enough dual endorsement for me. A really deep purple brown, so I prefer to pat it on like Kate did as more of a muted berry. Tom Ford eye colour quads are famously luxurious to use, and Disco Dust had been on my wishlist for well over a year after seeing Aussie makeup artist Toby Henney use it. The Peachy shimmer is really the powder shadow equivalent of Golden Peach, and the rest of the shades create this lovely, low-key, polished peach look, including a blinding glitter if you're that way inclined. 2 makeup souvenirs from my time in Canada catching up with my friend Caitlin. She's a big Bite Beauty fan, and these 2 lipsticks were shades I loved on her. Nori, a pigmented burgundy, and Chai, a peachy nude. A great creamy, comfortable feel. I went to the Bite Lip Lab in New York, so that video's coming. Urban Decay's Lo-Fi Lip Mousse is a product I do not use in the way it's intended. The shade Fade is such an ideal reddy brown that it spoke to me as an eyeshadow. The cushiony, dryish cream formula means it's smooth, easy to sheer out and blend, and really is the perfect example of the way I wear red on my eyes on a regular basis. Armani Beauty's Neo Nude collection has beautiful pieces for a minimal, fresh look. I've seen their A contour reviewed on YouTube as, too subtle, but that's exactly what I want a contour to be, a natural shadow in the hollow of the cheek, sheer and really easy to blend with fingers. Their A blush is exactly the same, a beautifully watercolour sheer wash of peach that blends seamlessly to give you a healthy flush. Now some eye elements, we're getting there. The orange tones of the Fenty Beauty metallic eye crayon set in Frost Honey seemed very me, and I love an easy eye crayon. The shades are lovely and warm, making green eyes pop in particular, but the fact that this is designed to be long wearing means I found it quite drying and clingy on my eyes, not as creamy as I'd like. 2 Sephora collection pieces I've really been impressed with. Their Easy Smokey Eye is my dream simple shadow stick. The shade Marsala Madness is a purpley brown that looks even more lovely sheared out, taking on a pink tone. Then their Glide Gel Liner in Red Berry is smooth, pigmented, and a tone I love as an alternative to black, much less heavy and a nice one to bring out your eye colour. 2 mascara points perks. Lancome Monsieur Big is something Alana Davison raves about. It's her equivalent of Chanel Le Volume, which I never stop talking about. And it is pretty good, a decent amount of volume, length and lift. The waterproof version didn't wow me as much, it seemed more spindly and didn't make my lashes look as full. A friend gave me a Sephora voucher for my birthday, so I bought this Huda Beauty palette when I was in New York with her, and topaz happens to be my birthstone. These Obsessions palettes are pint-sized, but really pack a punch with pigment and incredibly smooth shadows. Both the mattes and shimmers are so buttery. A nice warm colour family here that touches on the mustard trend, and it's teeny tiny if you like to travel with a palette. Too Faced is a brand I never thought I'd be drawn to, just doesn't jump out at me, but their Just Peachy Mattes palette did. I rarely look at a palette and think, I'd use all of that. And that's true with this, apart from the 2 palest shades. The powders are soft, so there's a fair bit of fallout, but they're nice and even and smooth to smudge on with fingers or a brush. But I'm not so keen on the scent. It's meant to smell like peach, but just comes across as cleaning product to me, so I have to look past that. We made it! Let me know if you're a fan of any of these finds, and please share what you've picked up from Sephora recently. I prefer not to think of hauls as showing off purchases, but actually helping other people navigate all of those makeup aisles too, so I'd love to hear what's caught your eye, and you can share your recommendations with other viewers. I'll also be showing you the skincare I picked up in future. That'll be fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time.